Okay, now we get to the second etude. This one is in C sharp minor and is composed by Joachim Andersen, which is a really important figure for flute players. Okay, I have divided this one into 33 small chunks. And in my opinion, this one is the trickiest one as far as intonation. You have a lot of C sharps, you have a lot of sustained E naturals that are tending to go down and be flat, and all of those things. You have a lot of higher E naturals and D sharps, so we have many notes that are going to be problematic. Okay, before getting into this, make sure that you're practicing your C sharp minor as a daily exercise with a tuner, so you are going to have a better grasp as far as where the tendencies in your instruments are going to be. Wonderful. The first phrase is going to be put down the line at the end of that G sharp, and this is the phrase number 2. Phrase number 3. And 4. It would be a good idea to really exaggerate the articulations. I'm trying to be really smooth when I'm actually performing it, alright? But if you're practicing it, a phrase like phrase number 4, it would be a good way to practice it with exaggerated separations of articulation, especially for the first couple of rounds of the auditions, that the band directors are really looking for clean articulation. Okay, phrase number 5 will be then you take your breath. This is phrase number 6. Phrase number 7, which is going to be a pianissimo moment, okay, and immediately after a mezzo forte moment, you can really draw some attention to your playing with really creating a beautiful contrast. All right, so right after phrase number 6, this is going to be phrase number 8, starting with that B natural in measure 14. I will be making some more videos in the coming weeks as far as the technical difficulties and maybe some fingering suggestions, but for the moment, make sure that you know the trill key for that C sharp turn that you have in measure 16 is going to be the second trill key, and of course B sharp is going to be the fingering of also a C natural. So if I want to play the beginning of measure 16 in a slow motion, it will be okay, and the phrase number 9 is going to be which is the end of the 4th line of the etude. Okay, phrase number 10 is just like our beginning. Phrase number 11. And just like I said it in other videos, I have divided my music. Let me see if I can get it right here. My music with these lines all over the score. So when I look at it, I have tiny phrases to deliver musically, and that way I don't have to make as many decisions. And when I look at my score, I have a really solid plan. Okay, Where were we? Phrase number 10 and 11 was this one in measure 19. This is phrase number 12. Which is a tiny one, and phrase number 13 is going to start coming down from a high E natural all the way to a C sharp. So this one is also going to be really hard as far as intonation. I would really recommend practicing each one of these phrases note by note and really paying attention to where your vibrato is, where your intonation is, and really kind of memorizing the tendencies of your instrument. Okay, the next section starts at measure 26 and we'll start with our phrase number 14. One more time. Phrase 15. Phrase number 16. Each one of those notes tend to not be in tone or in tune, and make sure that you are using the right hand fingering for that high G sharp, which is going to be like G sharp, adding the second and third finger on your right hand so you can get a better intonation on that note. So phrase 16 was, and this is phrase 17. Phrase 18. And that was phrase 20. Okay, going on to phrase 21. 22, make sure that you are really delivering that hairpin. Phrase 23. Phrase 24. Phrase 25. Alright, so you make sure that every single note is pristine, every single note is really well thought of. Okay, and then we go to the next page. This is phrase number 26, which starts at measure 39. One really good benefit of practicing like this with small phrases that musically make sense is that you get used to the sounding of each one of these phrases, and then you are not constantly calculating all of these accidentals that we have in these measures. For example, phrase number 26, we have a C natural, going to a B natural, going to an E sharp, which I know for many band students, sharps are always our biggest enemy. So going to an E sharp, going to an F sharp, which is cancelled out. I mean, a lot of things are happening. So if you are not looking at it as a bunch of notes and you are looking at it as a pretty little beautiful melody, that would be so much easier to learn the phrase and to deliver under stress, which is going to be your TMEA state auditions. I would always tell my students to memorize at the moment, get away from the stand, and repeat it maybe 4 or 5 times from memory. That way your focus will improve, and also you get used to the sound of it instead of constantly reading the notes. Okay, this was phrase number 26. Going on to phrase number 27. so we try to bring that out. Phrase 28, phrase 29. Personally, I do like tonguing these a little bit more distinct. Obviously, I'm not separating these because we have the line, I'm talking about measure 42. We have the line on those dotted triplets, but I do like to connect them, but reinforce them with some tonguing so they sound pom 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 pom. So I'm going for a round connected note, a bunch of notes that are re-emphasized with my articulation. This was phrase number 29. And this is phrase number 30. Don't forget that B sharp carries through the measure, so you shouldn't be sounding like. And I'm going to phrase number 31. And then we have the tranquillo G sharp A G sharp moment that you can really deliver a beautiful cloudy dark sound but also sustain your vibrato. And then phrase 35. I got too excited over there. Phrase 33, which is going to be our last phrase in this etude.